Welcome to the Charleston Marketing Podcast, powered by the Charleston American Marketing Association, broadcasting from our home base at Charleston Radio Group. Thanks to CRG, we're able to talk to the movers and shakers of Charleston, from economy to art, from hospitality to tech, and everything in between. These leaders have made a home here in the Lowcountry. They live here, they work here, they make change here. Why? Let's talk about it. Here are your co-hosts, Mike Compton and Stephanie Barrow.
Hi, and welcome to the Charleston Marketing Podcast, powered by the Charleston American Marketing Association. We're recording today in the Charleston Radio Group studios, while Cods Films is behind the camera, both supporters of CAMA. Now, let's not forget the talented Jerry Feelgoods with the beats at the front of the end of the show. Thanks to all of our supporters. Hey, I'm Stephanie Barrow, your CAMA Media Past President, and the founder of Stephanie Barrow Consulting, a digital strategy here in Charleston. And I am joined by my fellow co-host, Mike Compton.
Hey,
what's up, Mike?
What's happening?
How's
Jerry
it going?
feels good.
Jerry feels
Jerry
good.
feels good.
He's a
badass.
very big supporter and fan of Jerry's Feels Good, so
I am. Well,
Thank you-
he's
thank you
donating
for-
his talents to us.
He
man.
is.
I mean,
He's
got to get some props. At
He
the very
does.
least. I haven't met him yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
he's
He
tried to
seems
meet
like a
him.
good character.
I think you just need to go to the clubs downtown.
Might have a bit of a man crush. I don't know.
You
We'll
do.
see.
He does.
But hey, I'm the co-host of this fun podcast. President of the rūmbo, rūmbo.com. We're an advertising agency based out of Tampa in Charleston. And here we are with Nikki Kuniej. I'm so glad that you put how to pronounce your name in that, because I was frightened.
Do you want the story to go with it?
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so my mom came up with this. She says, picture a little raccoon trying to cross the road, dodging cars, trucks, buses. Little guy finally gets to the other side. Coon, yay! Yes, my hands
You know what?
did go up in the air.
I'm never going to forget that. Every time I see your face, I'm going to remember the hands up in the air,
And
like you're on a
the
roller coaster.
Raccoon that made it across the street.
I love it.
Oh, what a story
That is a good story.
No wonder you're in marketing. Your mom was a storyteller.
Both my parents.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll get into that here in a second. Let's get weird and do your bio real quick in front of you for
All
the
right.
listeners. Yes. Let's see here. Nikki Kuniej, the peppy blonde making marketing bite-sized for the Lowcountry. I'm going to ask about that here in a second. Is currently the director of digital strategy with the local media company Charleston Radio Group. In this role, she helps local businesses craft digital marketing campaigns that activate on things like traditional radio, digital radio, like Spotify, Pandora, video platforms like YouTube, OTT, CTV, social media campaigns, targeted emails, and more. With over 10 years in media and advertising, Nikki has been in the front lines of Charleston media since 2015.
Love
Her
it.
extracurricular, our Charleston Metro Chamber, so it says extracurricular. She also donates her time, is what it wants to say, for the Charleston Metro Chamber, Regional Policy Committee, Regional Housing Coalition,
Wow.
the Funding Chair, Thrive Steering Committee. That's
When
three
do you
different
sleep
committees in
is my
one board.
question.
Anyways, Stephanie, hold on. We're not done yet. And it goes. She's also
It
on
continues
the
on.
Big Brothers Big Sisters of Lowcountry since 2017. She's an incoming board member, summer 2023. She's in the Harbor Club. I want to do the Harbor Club too.
Me too.
Membership. Are you in the Harbor Club or do you want to?
I
you
want to.
want to be.
Yeah, I
See,
think so.
Nikki's
Perfect.
doing
I'm
it.
on the
See?
membership committee, so
Oh.
see me for more.
Yeah, I want to learn more. I do.
Well, talk about it.
Okay, we will. Let's continue.
Nikki, you got it. You don't know this. Video knows this, but Nikki is like moving making a motion about every little thing.
Her
I'm so
energy
excited.
is infectious.
Like-
I'm here for it.
It's also killing Brian behind the soundboard.
I was wondering about the jingle jangles, but that's just me in the post production.
No,
side
I
of
love
things.
it.
We'll
I love
take care
it.
of
So we're very excited to have you,
Perfect,
Nikki.
thank you.
This is your home base, though.
that. Yeah,
This
Charleston
is my
Radio
home
Group is our
base.
sponsor, so thank you for your time.
That's what we do, man.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So you've been in the Charleston marketing business since 2015.
Yeah, and I started my career in. Okay, well, how far back do you want me to go?
All the way back.
All
Okay,
the
so let's do
things.
the wavy lines,
go.
right? Wayne's
Yeah.
World with me. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Insert sound effect here. So I started in marketing in college, actually selling campus newspaper. So I was selling print advertising. This would have been
What school?
2007, 2008, Illinois State University.
Okay.
We were the Redbirds, not the Cardinals, the actual Redbirds. We can go down that rabbit hole later. But My marketing actually was sales. So I was a marketing sales major. You can, in fact, get a degree in sales. I'm so sorry, kids. Don't do it. There's other fun stuff you can go learn. Or do and just be ready for a big, wild, crazy ride. But I graduated college in 2010. Was actually selling suits door to door in downtown Chicago.
That's a cool gig.
Most painful thing I've ever done in my life.
Really?
Did you have the whole suits with you? Did you
I
have
had
a trunk?
a cart.
Yeah.
Like this rolly case
I've
that I
seen
would
this
take
before.
on and off the buses in Chicago. Now today, as like an adult, I could do the job and be fine, but it was my first job out of college and working anything as
Pretty
a real
intimidating
job.
to knock on
You're
someone's
like
door and sell them a suit.
crying all the time and just
Oh.
really,
Dear.
yeah, you know. I got big emotions. What can I say? I go with the big hand gestures,
Big hand
right?
gestures, big emotions.
But I had a friend send me a job posting for a radio station in Chicago, and the guy brought me in for an interview because he went to my college. So he saw that I went to Illinois State, and he had worked for the campus radio station and said, well, hey, come in and talk to me. I ended up spending 2 hours with him and another manager, and they said, well, like, do you want to go work for Groupon or do you want to work for us? This was peak Groupon days, kids. So, like,
Yeah.
I really did want to go work for Groupon.
Uh-huh.
Counting our blessings 10 years later that we didn't. But I started in radio in 2011.
Oh,
That's
wow.
amazing.
Yeah.
Where are we now? 2023.
Uh-huh.
Good
know.
Lord. That's
So
a
what
long
brought
time.
you from Chicago, the whole Illinois area,
Yeah.
to here?
Okay, the joke used to be, do you see these arms? But these arms love Southern food, and they're not as tiny as they used to be.
You are
So
Oh. Well, listeners can't see her arms. So,
that's true. So
And she's
really
tiny,
the cold weather.
FYI.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Right.
Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right.
Right.
Here we go. But I, at least you're the clown?
Yeah.
Or would it be better to be the
I
joker?
like the song. I'm
okay,
a big
perfect.
fan of the song anyway.
You know,
I want to be the hype girl.
10 years in radio. I will have a song for that later. Don't worry. They'll
Okay,
trick
good.
her
Oh,
out.
so that's what you
trickle
do,
out.
huh? You come up with
They
song
just like,
jokes?
they trickle in.
That's a fun
Okay.
little.
I
Come
love
on, 10 plus
Talent.
years in radio advertising?
get it.
How can you not?
get it.
You just make the jokes all day long.
So
But
many-
cold weather, hated
Yeah.
the weather in Chicago,
Same. Right.
loved what I was doing. So I was looking for places that I could stay in radio when I decided to leave Chicago.
Okay.
And it was just such a kismet thing. I mean, you want to talk about whether it's God or your higher power. How I ended up in Charleston was a gift from the good Lord. Because follow this train with me. And if I'm going too much down the rabbit hole,
Nope.
hold a hand up
Fire
and let
away.
me know.
Yeah.
But I was working in Chicago with a woman who, our market president was a woman named Donna Baker. And Donna Baker had spent a couple of years in Houston, Texas, and worked with a woman named Sherry Dollar. And Sherry Dollar in 2015 was the president for Cumulus Media here in Charleston.
Okay.
So Sherry,
Connecting the dots.
right? So Donna called Sherry and said, I have this seller. And Sherry said, if you like her, I don't even need to interview her.
Oh, wow.
And Sherry hired me sight on scene to come sell advertising for her in
That's
Charleston.
amazing. So how long have you been here at Charleston Radio Group?
I have been here since 2020.
Wow.
Yes,
okay.
I came back peak COVID
I
to
was
radio
scared to say.
advertising. Yeah.
Right.
So I took a year off. I was a little burnt out. I think for anybody that's been in the workforce for a while, you kind of know. You've done the same job for a while. You get burnt out. You wonder what else is out there. So I left radio. I'd worked for the same company for about 8 years. And I said, okay, I'm ready for a change. I'm ready for something new. And I went to work for Northwoods Mall. Guys, retail is still alive and well. And Northwoods Mall is a very healthy mall. Cannot recommend it enough. I had a great year up there because it's such a local mall that people are constantly coming in looking for retail space.
Right.
Zooming out, we'll talk about economic factors in the region later, but that's a good sign. When you have people coming in to look space, it means our economy is healthy.
Especially in 2019.
Right. Then COVID hit.
Yep.
Then I was on my first furlough that I'd ever been on.
Oh, wow.
Because again, working for a retail space when your retail spaces are closed.
Yeah.
And our GM here, Paul O'Malley, called me in the middle of that furlough and he said, would you come work for me? And I said, listen, no, but I'm on furlough and I'm a little bored. So like, I'll come meet with you for an hour.
Sure.
Well, he spent over 2 hours with me and I came in with like a single typed page of paper with all the reasons why I would never get back into advertising.
gosh.
And he went point by point with it.
He's
I mean,
truly the best.
yes.
You've met with Paul before,
Yes,
Stephanie? He is a good guy.
He's a really
Yeah,
good guy.
Yeah.
And he won me over. So I called my friends from the car 2 hours later and I said, I think I'm going to go back. And my friends were so funny because they said, thank God. Because
That is
Why?
your calling. That's
yes,
where you belong.
They said,
right.
they said, you have been bored out of your mind for the last year. And I went, really? And they're like, yeah, you like what you do, but you're not passionate about what you do. So here we are, 3
So
years
your
later.
tribe helped get you back in.
They did. Mr. O'Malley will wear down anything, guys. If you meet him,
Yeah.
you see him over at Daniel Island Club, say hi.
Yeah. Actually,
Are you in
Blondies.
Daniel Island?
No, but he is.
He is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a downtown girly.
Oh, you are?
I'm a downtown girly.
Paul
She's
and I met
hipper
at
than the rest.
Blondie's, which is a pretty
See?
cool place on Daniel Island.
Yes.
Insert
Breakfast
local
joint.
plugs here.
Yeah, that's what we love, shout outs. So you can shout out all day
Yep.
long.
Oh, I will. Don't
Because
worry.
we are trying to find some sponsors. So there's
Oh,
that.
yes.
I don't
right?
That
think
is
Colonial
true.
Lake can be a sponsor, but that's my favorite local park is Colonial Lake. So shout out to the Charleston Parks Conservancy.
There you go.
First shout out to the Parks Conservancy. That's great. I can't even say the name.
We will be there this weekend. Thank you for the tip.
Wow. Where are we right now? So now we're here at Charleston Radio Group,
Yeah,
and you
right.
found your passion.
Yeah.
Nikki got her passion back. And here we are at the radio group. What are you doing here at the radio
Oh
group?
my gosh, what am I not
What's
doing?
your
She
title
has
again?
her
Director
hand on the
of
pulse of
digital-
everything.
Director
We
of
got to
digital
talking at the
marketing, right?
digital summit, and I was blown away.
So they had
All
this digital summit.
Yes.
Talk about that, Nikki. What's
Yeah,
we
so
wanna listen to
I
this.
have been, like I said, I've been on the sales side for a long time. And in my previous stint in media, I was working locally for Cumulus Media. Shout out to all the great people over there. They taught me so much, the team that I worked with over there. And one of the things at the time that I learned a lot about was digital advertising. So when I got here to Charleston Radio Group, part of the reason why Paul wanted me on the team was because I loved local radio and I had some digital advertising experience. Now, for anybody that's listening, I'm sure you know digital is such a buzzword. And when you say the word digital to somebody, they go, cool.
Yeah, it encompasses everything.
And they don't actually understand it. They just go, yeah,
Right.
cool, awesome. Well, even my parents, so this new role I had for about 2 months before my dad finally one day interrupted me on the phone. And he said, Nick. And I said, Dad. And he said, I just don't understand how you guys have like enough people going to your website that they can pay you. And I looked at him and I said, you have no idea what I do you? And he said, no. So the analogy
Dad
I
do?
use, my parents own a flooring store.
Oh.
So my dad installed carpet for like 20 plus years, and then they started their own store about 20 years ago.
That's pretty impressive.
Very impressive.
Entrepreneurs.
Yeah, my parents are entrepreneurs, hardworking. Again, they know how to tell a story.
They're in the marketing somehow, somewhere.
And you have it in
right?
the blood then.
Oh my gosh, that's why my mom had to come up with the story, because
Yeah.
people will call and say, carpets by what? Carpets by Kuנייay.
I love it.
Awesome.
There you go. Yes.
I love it.
So again, full circle, everything always is. But the way I explained it to my dad and the way I explain it to most people, and then we'll zoom out to what I actually do here and how it pulls it all together, is think about when you open the Weather Channel app. I always use the
Right.
Weather Channel app because it's like the one app that unites all of the people. And I'm always like, you know those little ads that you see between the weather forecast and the radar? And they go, yeah. I'm like, that's what I do. You know when you get in your car and you pull up a podcast on Spotify? And they go, yeah. And those ads that play in your podcast? And they go, yeah. That's what I do.
Yeah.
When you're on YouTube and you want to go watch a really cool video for a new song that you like, and there's that little 6-second bumper, yeah, that's what I do. So anything that you touch online as a digital ad falls under our umbrella here. Looking at that specifically from like the local level, it's great because we've got these 6 local radio stations with over 18 local personalities. Let that sink in for a minute. We've got
Yep.
18 personalities that live and work and breathe everything Charleston. They're here in the building. They're here on the stations. Now we're taking that local passion and we're going to add in an additional layer for our partners of this digital campaign. And we were talking about this before we got on air of your own user experience, right?
Right.
I mean, how often are you just listening to the radio?
Not often.
I mean, I am now.
I listen
yeah.
to it in the car exclusively.
I think a lot
And
of
then-
people are still
then
listening to
They
the radio.
are.
They are.
93%.
Oh yeah,
That's a
especially
real
like
number,
my
huh?
That's a
husband
real
who
number.
will drive
Yes.
for 45 minutes to West Ashley in traffic. You know, he's listening to the radio the
Yo,
whole
I
time.
mean, it's not like newspaper. Like newspaper is newspaper.
I find out
right?
a lot of
Okay,
my
okay,
news
we're not- We're not going to call any baby ugly, guys.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
exactly.
no.
All right.
No,
Right.
of course not. But it's
But-
you have to. You're radio.
Yes.
Right.
So you have to you pick something else up, the digital side of things, and,
Yes.
and really kind of like you were saying. I'm not going to take your go ahead
Right.
the 360, right?
Well, no, that's exactly right, though.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing is people are still listening to radio. I know you
Absolutely.
were laughing at the stat, 93%.
Big number.
But that's a real percentage. So across the nation, 93% of all Americans, 12 plus. So again, think about that. All adults 12 plus in America are still interacting with radio every week for 5 or more minutes. People forget about their passive listening, right? They don't think about it when they're in their friend's car. They don't
That's
think about
true.
it when they're
That's
at a
true.
doctor, a dentist, the grocery store.
The grocery store always gets me.
For
Always
me, I'm
jam
like
at
sitting in the
grocery
car
store.
drop-off line. I'm just like listening to the radio
Yeah.
Oh, in the car line.
every day. Well, Monday through Friday.
And you guys know, as marketing experts yourself, the consumer journey now is just more fragmented than it was even 10 years ago. So when we're looking at that 360 approach, what we realize for our local advertisers is we want them to be able to get people at every point in the journey, from the time somebody wakes up and says, Alexa, what's the weather, until they crawl back into bed at the end of the night. No, there's not
Alexa's
one in
not
here.
Alexa's not in this room.
But that's really, so that was the point of putting somebody in this role with the radio stations of director of digital strategy.
Right.
So with my job here on the team, I'm working with our sales team to help them learn all the things that I just said digital advertising is, and then how they can take it and really make it simple and easy to understand for their local clients.
That elevator pitch to pitch it to clients is hard for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful that they have you in place.
So I was looking at, you just did the digital summit, kind of bringing that
Oh, yeah,
in
we
full
haven't even-
circle. Well, you mean did a great job. Stephanie was there.
I was there. I thought it was fantastic.
I saw the deck. I like the deck.
Yeah.
So, okay, there you go.
I did
But-
actually learn a lot about the YouTube pieces of it, because I'm really centered around like TikTok and Reels and Instagram, and I use YouTube for some client interactions, but that was a really
YouTube's
cool
a
part of it.
giant. You have to respect YouTube.
Oh, I like YouTube. I just don't have a lot of clients who put a lot of effort into YouTube. So for me,
Now that you got educated by Nikki and her team, now you can.
I actually took some of those notes back to one of my clients who is a local heating and air company. We're doing like Tech Tuesday, Tip Tuesday, plumbing tips and that kind of thing. And then I sent them some other people who I was like, these people have huge followings just for people who sit at home and watch YouTube videos to fix their plumbing or just these kind of things.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's do it. So
Oh, you're going to do one now.
we're doing it now.
You're
Yeah.
going to shoot on your cell phone, or you're going to get Coz Films to help you out
I
with
can
that?
do all the things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we do all the
I got
things.
you, Coz. I got you, buddy. When you're talking about the SEO, you explained SEO like paying rent to Google.
Yep. That is a true statement.
Thought that was a really cool way of saying that, of
Yeah.
describing that. Very simple.
Well,
Talk about it.
one of the things that we're looking to do is, like I said, simplify everything for our advertisers. And SEO is one of those buzzwords that gets thrown around a lot with PPC and SEM. And people start to think they're all the same thing, especially when you start using this buzzword of keyword. So what we had to start doing is trying to figure out a way to explain to our advertisers and even to explain to ourselves of what is SEO actually. So one of the things that we're doing is trying to explain to our advertisers that, hey, Mr. Advertiser, your website is really kind of a business consumer operations expense because it's the first interaction anybody's going to have with your brand. So you're never going to make a sale if somebody doesn't have a positive interaction with your website. Or if they go to Google your business and they can't find your business. So what SEO does, and stop me if I'm oversimplifying this or if I'm getting too in the weeds, but what SEO really does for you is it creates that foundation for a successful marketing campaign, because it makes sure that when people go to Google, they can find your business, your website's right, your phone number's right, all the things are right. People can see the reviews there. You know, SEO pulls together your Google My Business, your reviews, whether it's on Yelp or whether it's on your Google My Business. It just takes it all and wraps it up into this pretty package. So without having that component, none of your other marketing is going to work. And that's why we kind of start thinking about it as like, think of it as like an additional rent to Google. Because most people are not actually going to complain about paying rent for their business.
Right.
Because they recognize if I'm not paying rent, I'm not doing business.
Right.
So it's the same kind of concept. It's just a digital rent.
And that is the hardest people for to understand, is the importance of SEO, because they think social media or different types of marketing or just having a website on its own is enough to drag people in. But you're competing with every other people who have excellent keywords and searches and tags and all of the proper things. It is wild how much has like changed over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think the big point there is business expense versus marketing expense.
Right.
I think that was a big takeaway.
You
there,
have to
listeners.
have it.
Take a note of that.
Yes.
You have a physical address, you have to have SEO.
And that's, you know, one of the things that I didn't even realize till I sat in this role, because it's one thing to sell some of this stuff. It's another thing when it's kind of your face on the line as this digital sales manager and as the digital strategy director. So when I started really working with the rest of our team of what does it actually mean to do SEO, well, we're analyzing over 600 pieces of data on a client's website.
Right.
So, I mean, think about that 600 pieces of data, how much that actually is. That's not just what does your homepage header looks like. That's stuff behind the scenes. That's stuff on all the directories you're on. I mean, I didn't realize this until a couple years ago, that part of Google listing your business on the homepage.
Yeah, I want to go into more of the Google My Business side of things, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, part of even getting to rank on the first page of Google involves making sure your business has a consistent directory listing on more than 200 other websites.
True.
Whoa, why 200 other websites?
Yelp, Bing, any sort of map
YouTube
website.
is considered a search engine.
If you're not having consistent directory listings on these other 200 plus sites, Google will rank you lower on their search engine.
Another thing Google ranks you lower on is the amount of reviews that you have. 25% of your ranking, I believe, with Google, it's based on the number of 5-star reviews that you have.
Super interesting. Okay.
Which goes back to Google My
I know
Business.
all this, by the way. I'm just asking for a listener.
There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, I think, a great way to circle back because you said you want to talk more about Google My Business.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Teach me.
I love Google My Business.
Okay, perfect. So for listeners that don't know, again, we're asking for a friend. Thank you guys.
Yep.
The biggest thing with Google My Business is that it's that first interaction that people are going to get when they search for you by name on Google. So it's great to say, I want Stephanie's consulting company, but when they actually find you, what do they see?
You're talking about that right.
Yeah.
Right
So
guide right there
you've got your kind of your listings here. Yeah. You've got your listings on the left. And then on the right, it's going to be your website, your address, your phone number. It's also going to be a couple of really important things. It's going to be reviews.
Yep.
It's going to be photos. One of the things that we were highlighting the other day was that think about your Google My Business as just another social media channel, which means you as a business owner or you as the marketing contact for the business should be regularly adding new photos.
Yep.
Sure.
You should be asking for reviews. Great point on the reviews.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's huge.
Give some incentives for some reviews.
yeah.
And you can put offers. So say, for instance, to go back to my one client I mentioned, the plumbing company, when they have monthly reviews that we're having on our website, we're putting them out on Instagram, Facebook. We're also populating them on Google My Business every day. So if a post goes up on Facebook, it also goes up on Google My Business.
Automatically, or are you
Nope,
doing
I'm
it?
doing it. Yeah. But it's important, and you don't have to do it Monday through Friday, but it is important to keep that page fresh because that's a ping to Google that you're doing a major update, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
That's another tidbit there, listeners.
It is. And this is, another thing that I tell people, I always say, this is your free takeaway. This one's on the house.
Oh, another one.
Another one,
Oh.
Yeah.
right? Get ready, guys.
Keep 'em coming.
So with your Google My Business, those reviews that you get, if you're a business owner, and let's say, Mike, that you really want more businesses to call you from Awe.
Okay.
Let's say, I just want to work with lawn care companies that are based in Awe.
Interesting.
You would want people to write reviews saying, I live in Awe and I love what Mike does for our lawn care company.
Yep. Keyword in the review.
Yes. Because again, that's your organic search. So
Oh.
zooming back out for SEO, SEO stands for your search engine optimization. Or you can think of the O as organic. So what are you doing naturally organic in the wilderness? Think granola, think crunchy, we're out in nature. Again, organic. It's growing out of the ground.
Right.
What can you help grow out of the ground naturally to promote your business? That's your organic search. And that, again, is why it's an operation business expense and not a marketing expense. Because marketing expense, you're going to spend some money because you know you're going to get sales in return.
Right.
This doesn't necessarily guarantee you get sales in return, but if you don't do it, you won't get sales.
Right. It's brand awareness. It's
Yeah.
it's building your name in the space as a thought leader and provider of services, that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it,
It's a
That's
lot.
why you hire an advertising agency.
This is why you hire a
Stephanie
marketer
or
yeah,
Nikki
to do all of those
to run your
things.
organization.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're doing a fantastic job. Brian hasn't cost or cuffed or sent anything.
No. He's like, I'm just taking it all in. I'm writing these notes.
Do you guys want to do my affirmations with me quick?
Yeah,
Yes. Let's
okay,
do
wow,
that.
guys,
What do we
get
gotta do?
ready.
Tell
Okay.
me.
Today is brand new. Tomorrow is too.
Today is brand
Today
new.
is brand new. Tomorrow's two.
I've got a gift worth giving.
I've got a gift worth giving.
The only person standing in my way is me.
The only person standing in my way is me.
And I quit doing that yesterday.
And I quit doing that yesterday.
But the hand gestures got to go with it.
I like this. I'm going to print this
Oh,
off.
we're
and
not,
we're
not even done yet.
Oh.
No.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, we're not. There's Brian.
All right.
I am the CEO of me, and I am the best boss.
I am the CEO of me, and I am the best boss.
Winning is contagious.
Winning is contagious.
When I help others win, I win too.
When I help others win, I win too.
Feeling uncomfortable is just a sign my old comfort zone is having a hard time keeping up with me.
Like right now.
Right now, I'm afraid to move from the mic.
All right. Hold on. We've got 4 more, guys. I'm so sorry. 4 more. Momentum is messy.
Momentum is messy.
Everything is always working out for me.
Everything is always working out for me.
I am my biggest fan.
I am my biggest fan.
And the best response to any obstacle
The best response to any obstacle
is to do it anyway.
is to do it anyway.
So
Wow.
All of those in the morning.
Yeah.
Wow.
I also have a lot of other things I'm working on right now, like
Cool.
I am magnetic. I don't chase. I attract. What is meant for me is already mine. But those are like the 10 staples.
You
we
need
start
to
with.
have like a webinar and that people can buy this and then they can just watch it over and over and over again.
Have your own radio show.
There you go.
With your affirmations with Nikki.
I love it.
That would be what
That was
made
for-
Brian quit.
I would
Brian would quit
subscribe
at that
to
point.
listening
He's
to
like,
that.
one more podcast with
I'd be
Nikki.
in the shower being like, I am magnetic and I feel beautiful today. I love that. Hey, I love it.
Insert sponsor plug here.
Insert sponsor plug.
Hey, I'm down. I could listen to that just
there
every
it is.
morning.
So the unfortunate part is listeners couldn't hear Brian talk about his beautiful voiceover just now. That was a great line you hit there. As now we have started Nikki's affirmation show
Coming soon
Charleston
to a
Radio.
radio station near you.
Hey,
That was fun.
all started
I
here.
feel
with
lighter.
Charleston.
That was nice.
Isn't it nice?
Yeah, I do. I'm
There you
a
go.
big
Nice.
fan. Yeah.
There you go.
I feel more comfortable in my unable to move
I
spot
was
right
gonna
here.
say,
Listeners, you're missing a real treat today.
listeners, we had to do an affirmation, right? Because
Yes.
I was sounding too negative.
and
And
I was
Nikki felt a kind of a bad
I
vibe.
was hiding from the microphone.
And I'm so you know I'm kind of I have this is a plug for my ortho.
Yep.
High Tide Ortho. I've got Invisalign in. I don't know if you've noticed, but today is tray change day. Tray change day means it's a new. You put in a new thing, and your teeth just hurt. So I apologize if
I think you sound
if
great
I'm
this
too
week.
snappy a little bit.
no,
but-
I like the snappiness.
and I'm slurping a little bit.
No,
too.
you're
It's kind of
good.
weird, but
No, I did my
High
own
Tide
Invisalign.
Ortho.
I did my own Invisalign
You did-
journey several years ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
journey. You did your own Invisalign. How did you do that? What can't you do, Nikki?
That's so
Lord.
Jill of all trades, accepting applications for her Jack.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, I'm going to bring it back now.
Yeah,
back
so
to
sorry. We're
marketing.
talking about
We're gonna
marketing,
bring it
guys.
back.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so I want
She
to.
just got a date out of that one, though. I think that was request
Did you
for
like
a
that?
date
How
just
quickly
now.
I
think-
like slid that
I
in?
do.
I
I
like
like
this.
it.
I like it.
We'll be getting some phone calls after this show.
That's hilarious.
It's at 3:15.
Yes, exactly.
All right, so I want to talk a little bit about. So I'm a marketing consultant, as everyone knows, and I work with a lot of clients here in Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have a client that wants to say, get with you regarding like tornado season, right, hurricane season. So they want to help weather preparedness and have like ads that go along with their branding, so it's kind of seamless, but also be sponsored. What is the protocol for working with Charleston Radio Group on something like that? Because I'm actually interested because I have a client who needs that.
Bingo, bango.
Okay, we love this.
Yeah.
Well, what we can do is we can list my email address in show notes or however you guys want to do that.
Sure.
Because if I tried to spell it, it would take up half of our show.
Okay.
Coonyay, Coonyay. No?
Kuniejej.
Oh, boy.
So it's Kuniejej. So N as in Nancy, K as in Kappa, U as in Uni, N as in Nancy, I as in Indigo, E as in Echo, J as in Jacob, at Charleston, RG as in radiogroup.com. Again, as I said, it'll take up half the
Whatever
show.
she's drinking on the regular, I would like some
I just
because
want
her
to see her as a
peppiness
little
is like
kid, like just
contagious.
the chattiest.
Uh-oh, we got...
I love
What
it.
happened?
It's not like hold back a sneeze.
I was like, oh no, the video guy's looking at us, guys. I think I've done something really wrong.
Guys.
I think I've done something really
Guys.
wrong.
No. I love it.
Listening.
I love it.
So it would just get a hold of you, Nikki.
Yeah,
Just
get
like-
a hold of
hold of
me.
you.
And then we've got a wonderful team here. So what we do is I'll work with the client and figure out who the best fit for them is on the team.
Sure.
Because, everybody has different things that they match with and vibe with. But really, talking back to that 360 degree approach,
Mm-hmm.
that's why we like here in our office to try and be really a one-stop shop for everybody for
Right.
marketing and advertising. We want our clients to feel like working with us is going to take something off their plate. And that's what I tell all of my partners, all of my prospects. I said, if working with me feels like it adds something to your plate, it means I'm not doing my job right.
Right.
It should really make you feel like you're getting time back in your day. So looking at storm season, from the radio level, radio commercials can get on the air within 24 hours. That's from like you sending me to a
That's
script.
amazing. Yep.
Right? I mean, what else in today's day and age can you actually get up that quickly other than a post that you're actually doing on your own social? But I mean, looking at the reach of some of our radio stations, I'm all over on the tangent, so bear with me here. But if you think about most of our radio stations have 40 to 55,000 listeners a week.
Right.
Think about how many people that actually is. I mean, the Joe Riley Stadium where the River Dogs play, standing room only is 7,000 people. So when you start looking at 50,000 people, you're emptying out the Joe multiple times, over 7 times.
That's huge.
Right. So then looking at that, that's where the radio starts, right? You've got your top of funnel there. This is your brand awareness. Since your message can get switched out really quickly, when we know a storm is coming, we make sure we have creative ready to go so that when it hits, we have ads up that go, call us to get your tree removed from your yard. Call us to see what your insurance policy is for this. Call us for whatever it might be. Visit our website for whatever it might be. And then what we can do is we can partner that with the digital advertising. So we've got things like weather trigger display, which I didn't even realize was a thing until recently.
That's cool. So
you can literally have display ads online that trigger based on when snow is coming, based on when a hurricane is coming, whatever it might be.
So it's interesting because of the low country, even if we don't get a major storm, there's always talk of these storms. So when I'm talking to clients about potentially partnering with you guys for something like this, they're like, well, what happens if a major storm doesn't come? I'm like, there will be something. There will be some talk of this.
Oh, I see.
And then if, God forbid, we get a huge storm, you're just getting pummeled with advertising from that person who
pummeled
took
is
that.
a good thing.
In a good way, and a good thing from
storms.
that sponsorship package. If you go into it going, I want to just be featured when there's a hurricane happening. So it's really cool because it just, depending on what your business is, it really helps just like seamlessly go along with it. You don't really feel like you're being advertised to, and that's the key initiative. Like you don't want to know, like you want these tips for your home anyways.
And even so we've got the on-air radio stations, but then the thing I think most listeners don't realize also is when you go to commercial, what you hear in your car or what you hear on a traditional AM FM radio is going to be different than what you hear on your phone or your smart speaker.
Right.
So it's a whole nother bank of commercial inventory we have available is the website, the web station streams.
Right.
So for anybody that's listening on a smart speakers, it's funny because people thought, oh, smart speakers, what's that's going to do to radio? It's been the best ally that we've ever got because it's suddenly easy for people to listen to their radio stations again.
Even if they move, if they're on a
that is
road
true.
trip
I've listened to my radio from my Alexa, and I just didn't think about it until right now.
Right?
Yeah, I didn't think about it. I never.
You have to adapt. That's
I do.
what radio is doing.
I am.
Well, that's what marketing is.
That's what marketing is. 100%.
It's funny how marketing is just evolving so much over the last 10 years. How do you see it evolving here at the Charleston Radio Group?
I think that's part of why we wanted to have somebody in the role that I'm in now is so we can be on the front lines of that. When we're looking at digital, when we're looking at radio, one of the things that's going to be interesting is the addition to AI. So, we have radio stations, sister stations, that are now using ChatGPT to write radio creative. And I wrote a sample script in there the other day. I asked them to write a sentimental ad for a divorce attorney specializing in children and divorces. And it was one of the best scripts I have read in
kidding?
6 years.
I was just going to ask you who's writing your scripts.
So good.
And you're
we
saying
do.
ChatGPT is writing
Yeah,
your scripts.
we write 99% of our own stuff in house for our local clients. So we are insert self plug here. I am an award-winning copywriter.
Hey, all right.
There you go.
I was a Star Award winner in 2016. Also, shout out to Reggie Crawford at Cumulus Media for being my co-producer on those spots.
That's
Look at that.
amazing.
Look
Look
at
at
that.
you.
But
Look at you.
We can get you more awards if you like awards.
I'd love.
We like
Well, we got the
awards.
Spark Awards.
Yeah, we have the Spark Awards
Spark
that are,
Awards.
that are open
I
now.
want all the things.
It's
yes.
coming.
Praise and recognition.
So you guys write the scripts. Obviously,
Yeah.
ChatGPT is more of like an idea generator. It's more of like a
Yes.
brainstorming tool,
Yeah.
and then you take that
Right.
information that's free and it's there.
Yeah.
Great.
And I think, looking at, so that's one point that's going to change, but I think really it's just going to be an interesting thing because I think we're going to see this transition as we touched on some retail space before.
Sure.
We're going to start to see a transition, I think, from a little less e-commerce and actually a transition back to some brick and mortar.
That would be nice.
People want to feel the product. They want to see the product. They want to interact with it. But you still need to have that e-commerce side.
Yeah, it's not going to go away ever.
No.
Yeah, so I think what we're going to see is social media is going to continue to evolve. Video is going to continue to evolve. When we look at something like an Instagram is now back to prioritizing static images
Which is great.
over videos.
Yep.
So it's just constantly changing. I think that's the only certainty with whether it's radio, TV, billboards, digital, whatever it might be. The only certainty is that it's uncertain.
I love that.
Did I hear AM might be going away? Like
Depends on who you ask.
AM station, like the AM frequency might be going away, Brian. Did I
This
ever
is
hear
not
that? No?
rumor that
No?
I've heard.
Okay, nobody knows about that?
No.
I'll have to Google that. I heard that they're thinking about taking away the AM.
They're thinking about taking it out of Ford automobiles. Said that they were going to.
Oh, it's Ford.
Oh,
Ford's
Ford
gonna
was
remove
taking it away?
AM.
Rescinded that.
Okay.
I see.
The AM people came
I
through
see.
and said, no,
Okay.
we're important.
Got it.
And they are.
Now, I
Everybody's
know
got
that
their
you're on
place.
the jingle side, but you started talking a little bit about copywriting, and that started me thinking about
Jingles. I forgot.
Jingles.
Yeah.
Jingle,
Is that that's a
I don't
big
think you
thing.
can say jingle anymore.
What?
I think it's, what is it now? It's
And there's not called
Oh,
jingle
not
anymore.
a jingle.
No,
It's
they
like a
call it
score
audio.
or
They call it an audio tagline.
Audio branding.
Well, I'm old
audio.
school. Like, how important are jingles?
Well,
Is that like a thing? Because sometimes, especially the local ones to Charleston, they get in my head.
KARS, Cars for Kids.
Oh yeah.
Gotten boss. What's that? Boss.
You're gonna call the boss.
Call the boss.
Yeah.
I butchered it. Sorry,
Go to
boss.
the general
Yeah.
and save some time.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
Goose Creek, like that car commercial.
Oh yeah.
the Kia from Goose Creek.
Goose Creek.
Yeah. I'm beautiful, Ashley Phosphate.
Is that something you
right.
guys really focus on, or is that like a thing of the past? 'Cause it kind of feels like a thing of the past.
Here's the thing. Any creative should be catchy.
Okay.
And we touched on this before. Stephanie was one of our guests at this digital summit that we did. So kind of zooming back to that, and then I'll circle back to the jingles and trying to keep my train of thoughts here. But one of the things that we're trying to do a little different is educating our customers, regardless of whether or not they want to do business with us. So in May, we did an inaugural digital summit where we taught clients about SEO and about video advertising. And one of the things that we touched on in this summit, going back to the jingles, is that regardless of what medium you're using, it's just got to be compelling creative.
Right.
So yeah, a jingle is super fun if there's no other way for somebody to remember your name. Right? But if you have a really compelling business message, if you're reaching somebody at the moment of need, they're going to remember your business. So I think jingles are fun. Jingles work great for long-term branding. But if you're relying on the jingle to get you business, then you do not have a valid business reason for people to work with you.
Well, it just goes back to your 360-degree marketing look. If you rely on one thing, it's not going to work for you.
Exactly.
You got to touch on a lot of things.
So it sounds like you guys are offering like a full service marketing.
We really, that's one of the biggest things that I'm trying to work on with the team and across everybody in our building, because really, Brian across the board here, we couldn't do with what we do without somebody like Brian too, because it's not just me, it's not just the sales team, it's not just the rest of the management team. It's also people like Brian who are actually on air on our stations every day. Brian,
And showing up to events, by
Yes.
the way. I've seen him at
showing
lots
up
of
to events. He's
The
also our
telethon?
promotions
Yeah.
Agree with
director.
the telethon at MUSC.
He was at the Daniel Island Duck Race.
Yeah, that guy's everywhere, man. That
He
guy's everywhere.
is. I mean,
Well, you guys are everywhere. You guys are in the community, which is 100%
huge.
huge, right?
It is huge.
that is kind of full circle. Again, I know I've used that phrase a couple of times now, but that was a big reason for why I came to work at Charleston Radio Group, because when we say Charleston, we mean it.
Yeah.
So for us in the building, it's really important to be in the community, to be out there doing all that stuff.
And that's just going to help your clients as well.
Yeah.
Right. In the long run, the more you grow, the more they grow. That's awesome. Speaking of the more you grow, personally, not your arms or anything like that. I was just talking about your business and your soul, really.
She's so full
Joining
of life. I love it.
Huh?
So full of
She's
life.
so full of life.
I love it.
You can't hear her smiling and moving around, but you can see it on the video. Why is it important to you, Nick? And I'm going to call you Nick now.
That's
since
really
your dad
fine. Yeah,
called you
you're
Nick.
allowed.
To join an organization like the Charleston American Marketing Association, which you could always join any day.
We would love to have you, especially for the Spark
But
Awards.
she's on Metro already. She's got all the stuff already. So
I
she's
know,
on Metro and Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Well, she can just come to some events.
Why is it important for you to join these things?
Well, here's the biggest thing, right? So we talked about with the radio stations, being in the community is what matters. And think about from your own experience as consumers. Take off your marketing hats for a minute. Everybody that's listening, everybody in the room, take off your marketing hat.
Okay, taking
take
it
off
off
your
right
business
now.
hat.
There we go. It's
Okay, we
big
got them off.
Cowboy-looking hat.
Put on your consumer hat and think, who do you actually like to get to know and who do you actually like to do business with?
Friends.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
when
Like-minded people.
Right.
So when I look at why do I want to be involved in the chamber? Why do I want to be involved in the Charleston AMA? Why do I want to be a member of the Harbor Club? Because I'm meeting people that are pursuing excellence, pursuing growth, pursuing development in our region in a healthy and sustainable way. And I'm meeting people that are going to help me get better. So it's not just about like, what can I bring to them? It's also like, well, iron sharpens iron.
Right.
I say that.
And also, I think it's really important for me because I have had so many people over my career pour into me doing this stuff gives me a chance to pour back into the community and pour back into the next generation of marketers or decision makers in our community.
Love
I
it.
love it.
Are you going to be an adjunct professor, or are you going to do some kind of
You're going to run for office?
for
I
office?
have
Like, what's
so
next on
many-
Nikki's?
I have so many things that I would love to do
We still
someday.
have some time. So
Okay,
we're-
so like this is the really big, which it's not going to be a secret after this, but like if you had to really put a random goal that you're like something that would just sound the coolest thing to you ever,
Right.
is someday I'd love to have a building named after me.
yeah.
So I want to build a life that someday gets a building named after me.
Okay.
Okay. That is very
I can see that.
specific.
can see
I like
that.
it. I can see that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I can see that.
One of the other things that I have started doing, this is like a tip to anybody at any stage in life, but especially people in their 20s. I think in your 20s, you feel like you have to have a plan. You feel like you have to have it all figured out and you have to know what you want to do next. And the reality is, no one knows what they want to be when they grow up.
No, they don't.
Still figuring it out.
Right.
I mean, I'm in a
Except
good
for
place,
Cause.
but
Cause is pretty on top of it.
at like Kaz just turned 22, maybe.
He's pretty driven.
He's pretty driven, but I
He's our
guarantee what
film
he
guy.
does will change 20 more times in the next 20 years.
I think
a good
he'll
point.
just
That's a good
continue to
point.
evolve to be better and
Yes.
better.
Yeah. Well, every time I talk to him, he's something different.
I know. I love it.
There you go.
Just kidding, Kaz. You're doing great.
But I think that's the biggest thing when I
really is,
look
yeah.
at why do I want to grow? Where do I want to go? I'm not sure. I love what I'm doing now, but I want to be really hold everything in my life loosely, right?
Yeah.
I want to be willing to pivot and grow and change. And I know that I love our region. I love helping sustainable growth in our region. You know, we made jokes about all the things I'm involved in, but a lot of it is stuff related to policy and attainable and affordable
I
housing.
noticed that.
Yeah,
I love that
and the
about you.
Metro. And then
Yeah.
you're also close friends with one of our committee people is Lauren.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Last name Ellis.
Yes, Lauren
right?
Ellis
Yeah.
over at Charleston Young Professionals. She works for
Man,
Charleston
what a
County.
badass she
I feel
is.
like
Good Lord.
Jillian might be involved now with the
Jillian's
Regional
probably-
Housing Coalition.
There's so many
She
great
just-
people that we know.
It's
Jillian, which Jillian?
Jillian. What's her last name? Gilling? No, her
Is
Jillian.
Jillian the
Meckling.
one?
Meckling. That's
Yeah.
I was gonna say does she work for CRDI or is that a different
She
Jillian?
She
works for
works
an
for
agency,
Momentum
yeah.
Marketing.
Oh, okay. I don't
I
think
think
know
she's
her.
getting involved potentially with your board when she comes off our board. So this year.
Oh, I see
Yes.
what's going on. Yeah,
Yeah.
we are looking for board members and
Yes, we are.
committee members and that stuff.
We're always
So
growing.
that you answered it perfectly. I mean, it's all about building the community. It's all growth. You know, it's not all about us, but it comes back to us personally. You know?
Well, it's relationships, right?
It is.
Exactly.
I don't want to be a salesperson. Like that's the worst. Nobody wants to work with the 80s
No.
car salesman.
That was my biggest 20s issue, was not wanting to be a salesperson, and I was always put in that sales role, and I was always fighting it. Don't fight it.
Just
in my opinion, just roll
Be
with
yourself.
it, love it.
Put yourself out in the community.
make you your
show
own
up is the
salesperson.
hardest thing to do. Just to show up, be
Yeah.
present.
Yeah,
You know, shake hands, hold babies.
you know, it's not like it's the
Make
car
friends.
salesman anymore. You
No,
know, it's not. We're not
the
doing
game
that.
has definitely
You
changed.
know, we're building relationships and making friends and selling to friends.
Oh my gosh, we're friends.
Yeah.
I think.
I
mean,
thought we're all
I'm
friends
fast
now.
friends here. You know.
Yeah.
This is the best day ever.
Aw.
Yay! See, her energy is rubbing off on me. I love it. So how can our organization, CAMA, support you guys?
Oh my goodness. I would say just letting people know that there is a place for local marketing and local media. You don't have to rely on the guy in Colorado that might respond to you, might not respond to you. When you say low country, he's going to be like, is that one word or two?
1,500 different account managers.
Where does the
turnover.
apostrophe go in y'all? No. Like, first of all, y'all better know where the apostrophe goes in y'all. But that's neither here nor there. I don't want to offend anybody that's listening. I would say the biggest way you can support us is letting people know there is a local option for media partnerships. Let us be the face of your brand. Let us help you create a face for your brand. I mean, we've got things. Now I'm going to sound like a salesperson, but you know, one of the products that we offer is
Which is okay, Nick. Remember, it's okay. We just said that.
well, I get excited.
This is a safe space.
Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Nikki. I have a marketing problem.
Same.
We're all very passionate
Hi,
about what we
Nikki.
do.
Well, one of the things that we have is actually a brand guide. We will help your business from scratch design a logo, design brand colors, fonts, everything. So, I mean, we can literally take you from, I have this idea from a business to I need to market my multi-billion-dollar business.
I did not know this. So you can do, you know, from conception, the brand guidelines, the whole thing, build the website, do the marketing plan. That's very cool.
Does that concern you at all? Sorry there, bump the mic. Does that concern you at all to your agency clientele? Like, do you think you're going to maybe ruffle some feathers? I don't. I'm in the
I feel like there's
of,
enough business for everyone.
enough business
so
for everybody, but
that's the way I operate.
But when I moved here first, like Charleston and the agencies were very close, very
They
like
are very close.
not open to communicate to each other.
They poach
really,
each
it's
other's
like,
people
as a
sometimes.
salesperson, as the membership experience salesperson.
Right.
I was going to them and they were like, well, your last membership person was too salesy, or why would I want to compete with other agencies, or why would I want to be in the same room with other agencies? And
I think
competitors?
the space has changed a lot personally since COVID. I think the gloves are kind of off, and people are a little more accepting.
The gloves are off, like they're not fighting anymore. They're just gently taking the gloves off. Because when you say taking the gloves off, do you mean like we're fighting?
No, I do. I felt
that's
like
a
they were
hockey
like
terminology.
competition. Like we're competing for the same business. But I feel the more I'm out as a consultant who's just been doing this for a couple years, you know, I come across somebody and I'm like, I'm not an expert in that. I'm going to send you to the person that is an expert in that. And I'm not concerned about learning a new tricks of the trade to lose that business. Like I'm great at these things. I'm not great at everything. And it's all about helping one another, because at the end of the day, it is a really small community.
Yes.
And I think building a reputation, and I you know, like you said, I think that it's really interesting that someone can come to you, because there's pieces of my business that I definitely can't put you on the radio. I definitely can't, you know, have you as a marquee event at, you know, the Daniel Island Club or what have you. Like, that's not something that I do. So when I have a client that says needs that, I'm going to send her to you, because that's what you do. That's what you specialize in. Well, I think there's love for everyone.
And that's what I was going to kind of touch on, Mike, is that when you're looking at what each agency does, I think even agency directors would all say, these are a couple of our lanes, and we would love to know more about X, Y, and Z, but we're just not in a space to do SEO for all of our clients. Or we actually are not in a space to write jingles right now. Do you have somebody that could write a jingle for us? So what we want is, even for our agency partners, because I would say maybe 20% of our business comes from agencies at either at the regional, the national, or the local level.
That was my next question.
And, you know, we want our agency partners to feel like they're a partner. So if our agencies go, hey, we actually just need to buy airtime from you, awesome. Do you have some clients that want to look at events? Actually, yeah. Oh, you guys have a partnership with Mount Pleasant for Movies in the Park? We do. Oh, you guys do Wine or the Oaks at Boone Hall? We do. Okay, well, we want to talk to you about that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that where we want all of our partners, whether it's agency or direct, to feel like it's an ally for what they're already doing, that it's going to complement what they're already doing. So
Are you buying programmatic?
we're doing everything.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's online, we can do it. You know, the programmatic display, I think that's where the OTT and the CTV gets exciting. You know, I had
Nick, in 5 minutes, can you tell us what that is? I mean, a lot of listeners.
Might not know what the acronym.
Okay.
The OTT and the programmatic specifically.
Yeah.
Okay. We're trying to look at it as kind of a people-based approach. So less concerned about the platform, more concerned about how are we getting your target audience. So kind of
that.
Yeah, I mean, I had somebody yesterday that was talking to me about a number of impressions. And I looked at them and I kind of pushed back and I said, I'm actually not concerned with how many impressions I'm selling per month for a client, because I could sell you 100 million impressions, but if it went to a guy that lives in Vietnam, how does it help your business?
Exactly.
But
5 minutes until
5 minutes till cut.
Perfect.
And it's no problem. So is it true, like, a lot of people like, wow, I was on their website and it's following me on my social feeds.
okay, so we're gonna.
Is that programmatic or is that?
It kind of all goes together.
That's
I really,
programmatic, right?
yeah. I mean, it's
Cookies?
It's cookies, which cookies are changing. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I don't want to get too into the weeds on some of that.
Sounds like a whole other podcast that we're going
It's
to
a
have you on.
whole nother podcast,
Yeah,
right? But
I like it.
essentially, I said this at our digital summit, and I'm not sure if you were in this session or not. I said, one of my dreams for this year is to get my debt paid off and buy a convertible. And I have a really specific budget that I want for this convertible, and I want like a white BMW convertible between a 2016 and a 2019 with cream interior, right? Because that's going to be like at my budget between those
She knows
years.
what she wants, listeners.
So here's the thing. So
taking notes.
I said I love remarketing and targeted ads like that because I'm going to find the perfect BMW from a retargeting
Gives
ad.
you inspiration, gives you a goal,
So-
and same the legwork for you, right?
I love it when websites follow me. Please follow me all the time. Like,
Gives me
it
less work
makes
to
my
do.
yes,
Right.
I love it from
Less
a consumer
work.
That's
perspective.
one way of looking at it.
Yeah, but you know, OTT, CTV, that's basically video ads you see on your TV, on your connected device.
Right.
You know, the other kind of anecdote I was going to share with how marketing works, how digital marketing can work really well. And again, I try to focus less on the platform and more about the people. So with most of my clients, I'm not going to focus on, hey, we're using YouTube instead of OTT, or we're using programmatic or traditional display. I'm just going to say, hey, do you want to reach women under the age of 35? And they go, yes.
I'm going to put you in front of those people, and you're going to get the phone calls.
And you know what? Most local businesses don't care which platform it's on if they're getting the phone calls.
Right.
It's all about ROI.
So I had a client that I worked with, and they were a recruiter in DC and in Baltimore, and they had to reach people with this very specific clearance level for the military to work in government jobs.
Interesting.
So our digital advertising campaign, again, this was a B2B client.
Sure.
So a whole different ballgame, but they knew where their target audience lived and worked and played. So we put together a whole digital marketing campaign to target the locations that those potential employees were going after hours.
That is smart.
Isn't that fun, though, to do that? Isn't that
Yeah.
I love when people
the fun
think outside
part?
the
It's like
box.
all the random stuff that you got to think through.
So that's the other thing. I
Very
mean,
specific.
for asking how you can compliment us, asking whether or not we're a threat to agencies.
Yeah.
No, think of us as an ally to help you generate new ideas.
I'm an agency, and I partner with them all the time.
There we go.
So.
There we go. See?
More claps.
More claps. What a fun conversation, Nikki. I don't even know.
It was actually our 2-minute warning, guys, but it was also deuces.
Deuces.
I
It's
love
about
it.
time. Man.
It seems we just get started. And
Well,
before
so-
I know.
no,
we'll have
I'm-
you back. We'll have you back.
Yeah, exactly. I'm already planning that. Let's
you.
just put you on the calendar right now.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on the show. Thank you, Charleston Radio Group, for hiring you. You're awesome. Such a good conversation.
Tell O'Malley that on the way
Learned
out.
a lot too, by
Yeah.
the way. I don't know if you did, listeners. Stephanie and I, we
Yes.
took notes.
And you need to go to the Digital Summit next year
Digital
because
Summit.
I learned a lot from that.
Get a hold of Nikki. We'll put her email in the show notes. Before we leave, though, we got to thank Coz Films behind the camera for doing
And of
his
course,
thing.
Charleston Radio Group for having us here today.
Charleston Radio Group. Let's not forget Jerry Feels Good.
And
Okay, even though he doesn't
Jerry-
remember me, that's fine. I'll remind him.
Oh, geez.
The
The man crush lives on.
and the American Marketing Association. Well, he's not the only one. There's another dude named DJ DollaMenu that I want to hit up too.
All right.
I want to
We're
get to know
going to
that
go
guy.
back.
We can help with that.
We love him. Oh, precious.
If you want to sponsor our show,
yes,
you can.
reach out to us.
Podcast at charlestonama.org.
That's right. And don't forget to submit your work for the Spark Awards. So we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, Nikki.
Bye.
Bye-bye.